Chapter 2 Sectors of the Indian Economy. The whole chapter has been divided into the following headings. Number 1 Introduction. Number 2 Classification of modern economy. Number 3 Comparison of three sectors. Number 4 Historical changes in sectors. Number 5 Three sectors in India. Number 6 which sector employs largest number of people. Number 7 unemployment and its types. Number 8 way to create employment. Number 9 organized and unorganized sectors. Number 10 protection of workers in unorganized sectors. 11 on the basis of ownership, private and public sectors. Now we will discuss about three sectors: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Classification of modern economy in primary, secondary and tertiary sector. Changes occurred in three sectors over past decades. Classification of economic activities in organized and unorganized, private and public sectors. There are many problems in modern Indian economy. A nation's economy can be divided into various sectors. To define the proportion of the population engaged in the activity sector, it starts with the primary sector, which concerns itself with the utilization of raw materials from the earth such as agriculture and mining. Now we will study about classification of modern economy. We can divide this into three sectors. First is primary sector, which concerns agriculture. Next comes secondary sectors. It's about processing. And the third sector is the tertiary sector, in which we have goods and services. There is a flow of goods and services. Now we will see through these pictures what is primary sector. It includes all those economic activities which are connected with extraction and production of natural resources. For example, agriculture, fishing, mining. Goods produced by using natural resources. For example, agricultural activities, mining, forestry, dairy, fishing, etc. It is a base for all other producers or sectors, also known as agriculture and related sector. Now we will discuss about secondary sector. It includes all activities which are concerned with the processing of materials, which have already been extracted at the primary stage. Goods produced by manufacturing natural products provided by primary sector. For example, using sugarcane, which is a primary product, as a raw material to make sugar by processing, associated with different industries, therefore known as industrial sector. Now we will see tertiary sector. It is concerned with providing support services to primary and secondary sectors. It facilitates smooth flow of goods and services in the economy. Activities that help both primary and secondary sectors. For example, transportation, banking, financing, etc. Activities generate services, therefore known as service sector. All economic activities grouped in different categories are interdependent. Primary sector, it includes raw material. Secondary sector, where processing and manufacturing is done. In tertiary sector, services which link primary and secondary sector. For example, raw material, say raw cotton, does not reach to industry due to the strike of transporters, then what will happen? This shows interdependence of all sectors. Comparison of three sectors. Wheat, flour, sugar come under intermediate goods. Biscuit, final goods. Large amount of goods produced by three sectors by involving large number of people or workforce. Need to know how much is produced by which sector and which sector employs large number of people. Need to count various goods and services to know total production of each sector. To calculate the actual value of final goods and services is used. Only the value of final goods and services will be included. Goods used in producing final goods are known as intermediate goods. Value of intermediate goods are already included in final goods. For example, biscuit is a final good, whereas wheat, flour and sugar are intermediate goods. The cost of all these are already included in the cost of biscuit. To avoid double counting effect, value of only final goods or services is taken. Total production of a sector is provided by the value of final goods and services produced in a year. Total production of three sectors gives gross domestic product GDP. The value of final goods and services produced in a country during a financial year is known as GDP. In India, GDP is calculated by central government ministry. Okay, now we will discuss about historical changes in sectors. Many historical changes have taken place in all the three sectors. Initially, primary sector was the most important sector of the economy. By new techniques and methods, other sectors like secondary and tertiary also developed. Still, primary sector plays an important role as it employs large number of people over a long time, more than 100 years. Total production and employment increased in secondary sector, making it the most important sector of economy. Shift from secondary to tertiary sector. In developed countries, made tertiary sector the most important in terms of total production. All these three play important role as per the requirement of time. Tertiary sector emerged as the largest producing sector by replacing primary sector. Three sectors in India. In 1973, the primary sector was 45%, secondary 20% and tertiary 35%. But in 2003, primary sector was 22%, secondary 23% and tertiary 55%. As the following graph shows that production increased mostly in tertiary sector, that is from 35 to 55%. Tertiary sector emerged as the largest producing sector by replacing primary sector. Now we will discuss about reasons for emergence of tertiary sectors. Basic services like education, defense, transport, etc. are required by every country. Therefore, initiative is taken up by government. Increase in development of primary and secondary sectors will increase demand for more services. As income or earning power increased, more demand for services like private schools, hospitals, eating zones, etc. increase, especially in big cities. New services based on information technology also became important and essential in last few years. Not a symmetrical growth in whole sector, some part of skilled and educated labor is growing well, but lack of growth in services where people are engaged in small and petty jobs. Which sector employs large number of people? In 1973, agriculture was 72%, secondary 10%, tertiary 18%. In 2003, agriculture was 60%, secondary 18%, tertiary 22%. Large number of people still employed in primary sector because of less jobs in secondary and tertiary sector. As we can see that through this table, in industry sector, production increased by 80%, employment increased by 2.5%. Tertiary production increased by 11%, employment by less than 3%. That is, less than half of the population involved in secondary and tertiary sector, which produces 3/4 of GDP, whereas more than required people are engaged in agriculture sector. As a result, they are underemployed. Now we will study about unemployment and its types. Meaning of unemployment: situation where able people willing to work do not get work and are not engaged in productive activity. Unemployment can be divided into two: underemployment and disguised unemployment. Underemployment: situation where people work below their capacity, skill and education. For example, in case of small farmers, all family members work on a same field because they do not have any other place to go. This shows that none is idle and their labor efforts get divided, but none is fully employed also. Now I will tell you about disguised unemployment. Hidden unemployment means people seem to work but do not contribute to the actual production. All these sectors face the problem of unemployment. Ways to create employment. Employment can be created by keeping these things in mind. Role of government in opening banks, starting projects like dams and canals, transportation, better roads, promotion and location of industries in rural areas like mills, cold storage, etc. Job in education and health sectors, promotion of tourism, regional craft, IT services, etc. Laws and policies of government like right to work in 200 districts of India and NREGA 2005, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, that is policy of government. Organized and unorganized sectors. Organized sector covers those places of work where the terms of employment are regular and have assured work. Registered by government and follows fixed rules and regulations such as Minimum Wages Act, Factories Act, Shops and Establishment Act, Payment of Gratuity Act, etc. Has formal procedures, gives security of employment, works for fixed number of hours, benefits and incentives for employers like PF, paid leaves, etc. Unorganized sector, small and scattered units outside the control of government. Rules and regulations not followed. Low pay and irregular. No benefits and incentives. People employed in selling on street, farmers working as hired laborers, etc. Protection of workers in unorganized sectors. Slow expansion of jobs in organized sector is a major reason for the people to take jobs in unorganized sector. Rural unorganized sector, more vulnerable landless agricultural laborer, small and marginal farmers, artisans, etc. Urban unorganized sector consists of casual workers in construction, transportation, vendors, rag pickers, etc. Need to have government support in both rural and urban areas by providing more work opportunities. On the basis of ownership, enterprises can be classified into two: public sector, private sector. By public sector, government owns assets and provide all the services like railways, post offices, etc. Motive to provide services to people at reasonable cost to fulfill their needs. Covers all services which private sector will not provide at reasonable price or cost. Activities which the government has to support. Activities which are the responsibility of government like health and education. Fair price shops, PDS, providing subsidized goods, etc. Private sector, ownership of goods and assets in private hands or companies. Main motive to earn profit. Provides only those services in which money can be invested within a limit and profit can be earned. For example, Tisco, Reliance Industries Limited, RIL, etc.